Hey everybody, and welcome to the Gauntlet, where we go over everything esports news. I'm your host, Captain Zeus, followed by my co-hosts JT and Novaverse. Today we're going to be going over the results for the hero pool that just happened yesterday. A little overview about it. Starting on the 7th, 1 tank, 1 support, and 2 DPS are going to be unavailable for selection during the matches each weekend. They'll be randomly selected from a group of eligible heroes based on playable data from the previous weeks. Only heroes that are played in the top 10% are going to be pulled for the hero pools. No hero will be unavailable 2 weeks in a row, and hero pools will not be used for the mid-season tournament, the play-in tournament, playoffs, or grand finals. All heroes are going to be available for those matches. So the heroes that got selected for this week are Reinhardt, Moira, McCree, and Widowmaker. Basically what that means is those 4 players are going to be, or those 4 characters are going to be unavailable to play this week. JT, how is this going to affect these teams coming into this week?
Greatly. I'm still upset about the whole way this has been done. I think they should have picked either the 4th highest played out of each category, or let the teams ban one each, or let the fans vote. I don't like this random system of just randomly picking things for funsies. It's going to affect high-level team play a lot. So teams like New York, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Paris, all the team fighting teams, it's going to really crush them because all of a sudden their team strategy is gone. They also didn't give them enough time because they already built their teams beforehand. So I'm just kind of upset about it. Also, no fun highlights because, Widowmaker's gone. No fun Overwatch.
No snipers only, unfortunately.
Oh, and we're just going to see a bunch of dive because Reinhardt's gone.
Oh, 100%. They had the casters afterwards were talking about what they thought the comps were going to be. They are like Orisa Diva, Winston Diva, obviously dive. Orisa May Roadhog, Pharah in 76 was being talked about, which that would be interesting. Nova, how do you think these teams and especially the comps are going to be affected coming into this week?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like these are high-level teams, esports, they're competitive teams. I would hope that they have some level of understanding of how to play other characters, obviously, because if you're only a one-trick pony, that would surely be a shame to be playing. But yeah, honestly, every time they do these hero pools, different heroes getting pulled away from the teams, yeah, they're just going to be shifting different comps. I wouldn't be too surprised if people still wanted to play double barrier if they went Sigma Orisa, but we haven't seen a lot of Sigma at all. So I don't know. It's not possible to do a Winston Orisa. He also has a barrier, but yeah, dive comp seems more likely with Diva. Diva's been really good lately, and Winston, both of them being able to move. For DPS, I feel like Doomfist is probably going to be coming out more. Pharah might be coming out more because you took away both of the like snipers basically out of. There's Hanzo still, but McCree and Widowmaker, they get those picks. So now it's open skies for Pharah basically. It's not possible a Soldier or a Hanzo to come into play. But now Pharah just looks like an optimal choice to roam the skies now, and you don't have a Reinhardt now to raise up his shields if he needs to. You got Diva for Matrix if she ults or something like that. But yeah, the high mobility of shield is gone. Moira being gone, it's not too crazy. We haven't seen a lot, but she does do a lot of healing over time. But she can't be replaced. Lucio, we've been seeing a lot of Ana, so I'm not really tripping about Moira. She does do a lot of healing and damage at the same time, but Lucio could probably fill the role slightly, not better, but can fill the role for Moira. But other than that, I was honestly expecting McCree and May for the DPS bans. May's
Everybody was
I wasn't hoping May, but I was just expecting May. We've been seeing May and McCree so much in all these games, and so I was okay, it's gonna be McCree and May. But Widowmaker, I was dang, you're taking 2 high caliber snipers picks. I was okay, I think they're gonna do that. But that's my analysis of how I feel about this picks right here.
That was a very detailed analysis. I do appreciate that.
I have
Thanks.
more to add to that.
Okay, JT.
Go ahead.
So, just talking about the competitive nature of this league, I don't think it's quite fair that they do these bans week by week, because that's what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Every week ban. They should do a month, so every team has to play under it. I think it's pretty unfair that some teams won't be able to play with Reinhardt, but other teams will in the same month. So some teams will get unfair advantages. Let's say they're really good at dive and they play a team that's really good at tank, and all the tanks get banned. Well, they have a huge advantage in that matchup. I just don't like the way they did it, because some teams are going to have huge advantages against others because their team's been demolished. Kind of like, New York isn't really a dive team, and their main tank just got banned, and their main DPS just got banned.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't like that as a competitive thing where not everyone's playing on an equal playing field because the bans are so short. If they made it like a month or two, okay, like that's more understandable. Almost everyone will play each other in that time frame.
Or if they
everyone
put it
will
out
have
like
to
a
play
month in advance.
Yeah, let teams prepare for it. But doing it every week, these teams are going to have to be so robust. And maybe they are with the bench spots. You've seen Houston trying to do that. But I don't think the teams are ready for that because they didn't know going into the season that's what they were supposed to be preparing for. So I think it's pretty unfair.
To be honest, I think they kind of did, because when the hero ban was first announced, beginning of the season, everyone was like, well, no one knows who's going to be banned first. But it's going to be based off of who's going to be played more. So the assumption would obviously is going to be Reinhardt. Everyone kind of saw that one coming. The McCree, obviously, that was going to be happening. Widowmaker, I wasn't really seeing that much. They were kind of going on and off with the Widow on that. I was hoping kind of May to see her get banned. But the Reinhardt and McCree, them getting banned is kind of like expected in a way. So I'm pretty sure they have some way to fill in the gap of what was, left. Not as good as if they were maining it all the time, but, the gap's been filled at least a little bit.
Well, see, this is the problem, though, because this was announced after most teams have already built their roster for the year. So they've already paid all these players all this money to play, taken up roster spots, signed contracts before they knew this ban was coming. So that's what I have an issue with. It's like, well, you should have announced it way before these teams started to lock down players. So that way they could have a better team identity. They could get the players they need. I know people don't like this suggestion. I wish they just gave each team like 2 bans, so it would stop. Like if you're playing in New York, you could just take away Reinhardt, right? Or if you're playing against another team, and it's more strategy, right? So you take away their best things, can they still beat us? And the team can prepare for that. All right, well, they're probably going to ban Reinhardt, or they're going to ban McCree, or they're going to ban Widow. Like, I just would prefer if they made it like a strategy thing, like a cat and mouse game between teams, rather than just a random generator. I'm just not happy with that. I think that's a bad solution.
Yeah, you're pretty upset.
When
you saw them doing the whole raffle thing, you're just like, what is going on?
I didn't realize they were going to do it completely randomly.
Well, that was just for that one night. They said Blizzard's going to, I don't know how Blizzard's going to do it, but they're going to still do it randomly.
Same thing.
Not necessarily the raffle. They'll have some algorithm or something that they're going to do for it. But
yeah, but it's just a bad way to do it. Let teams, first off, give them more time if that's the way you're going to do it. Give them like a month or 2. A month before they know what they're getting into, and then they have to plan it for a month so they can get used to it. Like, I don't want the stale GOAT meta at all, but I want good matches. I want teams to be prepared weekly for what they're going into. And they can't be preparing 2 weeks in advance for a matchup, practicing a new meta, because they don't know what that meta is going to be.
That's true. Nova, how do you feel that they could have improved on the way they did the hero pool selection? And, like, what is your take on it?
I mean, okay, before I go into that,
Okay.
I mean, I said it before, I would just hope that these pro players would get an idea of how to play other characters. I mean, because if you're going on saying, they took my Reinhardt, but game over, what kind of player are
GG's.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I hope you got a side character, like a pocket character, to be like, hey, we can trick them up with this because I know how to play this effectively or whatever. That's what I'm just saying. So I feel like with this hero ban, you know, they take away one character, but it just forces you to play it a different way. You know what I mean? And if you can't adjust to that, I mean, then maybe you need to sit on the bench. I don't know. I'm just saying.
You're saying that in a vacuum, right? And that's the problem because it's not just all right. They ban Reinhardt. That takes it away an entire like play style, pretty much, because it just means dive's going to be so much stronger. So the other team's 100% going to dive you, and you can't counter it with just more shields because they've taken away all your good shields. So the entire team like DNA has to change. And some players, I mean, you know this, you've played games forever. Some people are really good at aggressive play styles. Some people are really good at defensive play styles. Some are, you know, in the middle. Some, of course, are really good at everything. But, I mean, you can be an all-star shield player. But if all your shields have been taken away and your team's been prepping for this for months, well, that's not fair. I just think more time should have been given.
I mean, I don't think it's impossible to run different comps. I mean, we are talking about dive, but I mean, there's bunkers still. And like with that, I mean, you only need to run an Orisa. If Orisa gets banned,
Bunker is toxic.
You can run. Well, I mean, it's
really want to watch that though?
I don't want to watch Bunker. I'd rather watch Goats.
I mean, it's still a comp. I mean, you can still play around with. I mean, pirate ship comp. I mean, pharmacy. Like, there's different comps. Dive isn't the only thing. And even if it isn't like a comp with a name, like a name that we have identified it with, we can still come up with new things. I mean, like,
no, I agree with you. I want teams to be able to be more versatile and be able to do more things. I think that's healthy for the league. I think what they should have done is say, okay, each team gets 2 bans. You can't do it in the same category. So you can't ban 2 tanks. You can ban 1 tank, 1 DPS, or 1 tank, 1 support, or, you know, however you want to mix it up. That way there's more strategy. You also mix up the metas. Because, of course, you're going to ban, like, whatever that team's really good at. You're going to stop them from doing that. And that way there's, like, counterplay here.
Yeah. But what's it called? Going back to the question you asked is, I mean, a way they could have gone with this, I mean, the way they're doing it now, I'm not saying it's too crazy. I mean, the randomly selection is kind of like, okay,
awesome.
Why are we randomly selecting? It should be statistics, stuff like that. The way JT said, the one with like you get 2 bans, you go up against a team and you're like, okay, this team can't play this character and this character, and then the other team's like, okay, you can't play this character and this character. I mean, that seems a little bit more exciting actually, to see like, okay, what kind of strategy they're gonna pull with that. I think that could be pretty exciting. Every matchup could be different, so.
And it would kill this whole meta thing, right? So
true, yeah.
Just play Reinhardt. If a team's really, really good at playing like double shield, you just get rid of the biggest shield and someone who heals the shield, and there, it's done. Can't play it anymore.
I personally think that they should have just did like a fan vote and had like the fan, like have a pool, fans decide which players or which characters they decide get banned, and they do it for like 2, not necessarily a whole month or a week, but like 2, maybe 3 weeks in a row, where it's like, so you have to do that. You have to do this.
I like that. I think that's a really cool thing for the fans, but I think you have to do it a month in advance so the team knows what they're getting into, and you have to play it for a month, right? Yep. So you're used to what you're playing, you're prepared to go into it, because I'm afraid what's going to happen is some of these teams are going to go in here and they're like, well, we're only going to play 1 match on this anyways. Who cares? You know,
put our B team
won
in
6 games.
Yeah.
So who cares? Let's just try something crazy and not try. I think that's what's going to end up happening, because they won't be able to outperform a team who's really good at like a pick comp. And their counter to that was, okay, well, we do double shield. Well, you can't do that anymore. Okay, well, then we'll just try something crazy.
Especially with Philly, New York, Paris, Atlanta all playing next week. I mean, they're all top teams, and it's like, okay, so we don't have Reinhardt, McCree, Widow for just this week. looks like we'll just do something crazy. Next week, we'll get our characters back, so then we'll just go back to doing what we were doing.
Yeah, because McCree can't be banned next week, right?
Correct. They cannot have a character banned 2 weeks in a row.
So, yeah, just take a week off. You're only playing 1 week this week. Or, hey, thank goodness we dodged a bullet. We get to use Reinhardt. Or May. Like, I don't know. I just wish they would have made it either more interesting, like a fan vote. At least there's some chaos there. Give the teams a lot of time. Or, my personal favorite, the ban strategy. Because then it's like layers, right? Okay, you banned our tank tops. Okay, well, you're all really good at dive, but we can counter dive, so we'll ban this, so you have to play dive. Just different layers. Prefer that.
Yeah. What's it called?
Every week we just have chaos.
About the fan vote, though, I mean, you know how fans can get. I mean, an audience can get. They can get pretty crazy, I guess you can say. But honestly, I feel like fans are just gonna pick what they see, and we've been seeing pretty much the same thing. So I don't think, like, if they were to pick right now what they have been seeing in the Overwatch League right now, I'm pretty sure the picks right now would probably be close to the same. Maybe
Widow would not be gone.
May probably into the Widow.
The thing is too, is they give a choice of what characters. Like I have a list real quick of what characters would have been able to get banned. So they had Diva, Lucio, Reinhardt, Ana, May, McCree, Moira, Doomfist, Widowmaker, Winston. Those characters were eligible to get banned. So obviously, based on what they've seen, they could have chosen. I'm pretty sure Reinhardt would have gotten chosen anyways. To be honest, it's just Widowmaker would have been. I think they would have chosen Doomfist over Widowmaker. No, true.
Everyone
probably May.
Everyone who watches Overwatch hates May.
They've been playing.
I hate May too, but this is like I think
character.
It's an option, and then they probably wouldn't have chosen Moira because no one really plays Moira.
I mean, sometimes
she barely made it up in the top 10.
Ana or Lucio would have got banned for sure.
Lucio.
That's true. That's true.
One side effect of this, since we have no Reinhardt shields, Diva's going to be played 100% of the time.
Diva, yeah.
Literally every single game, and there's going to be very few ways to stop her stupid ultimate in team fights.
Maywall.
Teams just, well, yeah, but that's way harder than like a Reinhardt shield because everyone was already behind it.
Well, then you still have Winston and Arisa though.
I mean, yeah, Arisa.
It's just going to be way more difficult.
I mean, I agree.
I guarantee you, we have a bunch of really, really sweet ults from Diva because it's going to be way harder to stop.
It depends on the map too.
Sure.
If we're talking about like a Nubani where there's like buildings everywhere, good luck.
Bring back Volskaya.
Volskaya.
Lord have mercy on my soul. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Did you guys have any last thoughts on the hero ban? JT?
Yeah, bring back Route 66 and Volskaya. Take
Nova?
over the world.
Next time, get it right. May should have been gone.
May's the worst.
May ruins the game.
Player bans. Come on. This is a competitive league. Why are we doing random things? Random things don't belong.
I think we're going to see Symmetra, guys. Just heads up.
Oh, God.
Here comes the toxicity. But we'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm Captain Zeus, followed by JT and Novaburst. We'll see you guys later. Sparkle.